in terms of the way climate and weather conditions have evolved. So, what is our mandate? Our mandate here is threefold. One, we are supposed to monitor, observe, and record whether the weather elements, the common weather elements that are known to you, like pressure, temperature. I'll just mention the ones that you guys will be able to understand very easily. Pressure, temperature, and temperature, there are different types. Okay, then there's wind, direction and wind speed, there's humidity, okay, sunshine hours. I don't know if somebody is taking note, and rate of evaporation. There are many more, but those are the ones that I feel you should know. Now, that is number one. Umeelewa hiyo?
Yes.
And that number one is a key one for us, because the records that we have are because of monitoring and observing. The oldest records that we have in Kenya data, especially rainfall, starts from 1891. The first rainfall records start from there. And 1891 tulikuwa na serikali kweli? Are there history students here? Hamkusoma shuleni? Okay, what about secondary? Hamkusoma? History. 1890s, was there a government? No, there wasn't. Okay? Then I think the first government that we can talk about started around 1900, when we had what they referred to as East African Protectorate. I'm not so good in history, lakini nakumbuka hiyo kidogo, okay? And that is when now the settlers who are coming from outside and settling in Kenya, they were coming with their own rain gauges. Because they knew the importance of what?
Climate.
Weather and climate, they knew. So when they came with their own and settled in farms around the country, they would install rain gauges in their farms and observe like for 5 to 10 years. And that would tell them roughly how the climate and weather and climate is in those areas that they occupy. Umeelewa hiyo? Yeah. Those are the records that the Kenya Met, when it was formed in 1929, those are the records they would pick from those individuals and put them as their own records. Okay? So we have a lot here. 1890s, most of the records came from the coastal region, Malindi, Mombasa, those areas. Okay? Yeah. Because that is where the settlements, more like, in quotes, civilization was. All right? But then when the railway was they started building the railway, the old one, the standard gauge. Is it standard one?
No.
1 meter. It is 1 meter, sorry. The 1 meter. It was built from 1896. It kind of all the way to Kisumu until 1901. Now, because the administration of the railway knew the importance of weather and climate, they also had their own rain gauges. So they would build the railway, wakifika Voi wanaweka moja hapo. So they go up again, wakifika Makindu, they put up another one. So we have records from those stations starting from 1900, zingine from 1905, 1910, like that. So by the time the government was set up here, we had a few stations that were scattered around that could tell us how the conditions were. So That has been mandate number 1. Umesikia hiyo eh? Mandate number 2 is once that record has been made, here rainfall, temperatures. Oh, I forgot to say that the records I'm referring to are rainfall. Si mnajua ukiwa na pressure, temperature, those are many records. Eh? Those days, those instruments were not readily available. Zilikuwa very expensive. The only one that they could afford is a rain gauge. It was easier to install, easier to make, okay, and easier to make inferences too. So the temperatures and the pressure, and especially pressure. Pressure, what measures pressure? Niwarudisha shule kidogo. Is what?
A barometer.
Is what?
Barometer.
Unajua mbona kama ni mchezo, unaweza kuuliza mtu akwambie hata hajui. So it's a barometer. Barometer is very expensive. The different types of barometers we have. See, not everybody can afford them. So these ones came later. So number 2 is to analyze, okay, and archive the data that we have already acquired. Remember now, as a Kenya Met, we have stations around the country. So they all are making observations at the same time. Sio wengine jioni, wengine asubuhi. There are standard times when observations are made. Like for example, rainfall records are done at 9 every day. And not only 9, yes, 9 not PM, 9 a.m. in the morning. And those records are done, the observations are done all over the world. Wherever you are at 9, okay? Of course, when you look at GMT, that will keep on varying. Eh? So because 9 p.m. in America is not the same as 9 a.m. here. So 9 a.m. wherever you are, observations are made. Now, once that is done, the data is there, and that data, remember, the data that is stored is juzi, jana, like that. Eh? Yeah. This is what is used to make a prediction, because you want to know how everything has been was evolving, okay? And from there, as it evolves, today's record is compared to what was there yesterday, and it is the one that is going to be used to make a prediction for tomorrow. Unaelewa?
Yeah.
So, assuming our weather climate is our climate system is going to go in a straight line like this, it is easy to tell from where that line ends how it's going to proceed after. All right?
Yeah.
Now, that analysis, I don't know, but I think later on I'll show you. We have the analysis. What happens with the analysis is on a map. Say a map of Kenya. You indicate the points, the values on a map. Say the values could be pressure, for example. Pressure for Nairobi is indicated at Nairobi. Pressure for Mombasa is indicated like that. All right. Once you populate the whole map with those figures, then you do an analysis, and that analysis involves trying to join areas of the same values. And when you do that, and of course the guys who did geography can understand what I'm talking about. The lines that we use in joining areas of the same pressure are called isobars.
Isobars, yeah.
Areas that join the same areas of the same rainfall. They are referred to as
isomers.
Isobars.
Isoprets.
Yeah. But isopret is a bit like general. It's a line that joins points of the same value. Okay, you can also use isomerates. And for temperature is isotherm.
Isotherms.
All right.
Yeah.
So those ones are the ones, once you plot them on a map, you are able to tell which area was very high, which area was very low. And if you do that yesterday, tomorrow, like that, you're able to see how those areas are moving. Are they strengthening? Are they weakening? Are they moving to the east? Or are they moving to the north? Naelewa hiyo, eh? Yeah, that's what I'm calling as analysis. So that is where forecast is done. Mandate number 3 is to disseminate that information to the correct people and in the correct language. So those are the 3 main ones. But now when you start now dividing the department into even other finer areas, you'll find there is also research, you'll find there is also training and others. All right? So that is what happens. So, any questions so far? Ask anything. Nimekwambia I have been here how many years? Siogopi kuuliza swali yoyote. Like for example, sasa ni kwa nini tulisema itakuwa hivi kawa hivi ingine? Okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
You have said you have been here 32 years.
Yes.
This career give
Well, it's a relevant question, isn't it? Yeah, it does. But things have really changed a lot since when I got employed. Because I remember during my time when we got employed, we were getting the same salaries